A Boeing 737 passenger jet unexpectedly traveled back in time to the skies over World War II. The captain, staring at the battlefield lit up by constant explosions, thought it was some kind of fireworks display. But a second later, the radar picked up unidentified objects rapidly approaching. Moments later, several German Me-262 jet fighters appeared on either side of the airliner. Stunned, the captain immediately pushed the throttle and pulled the plane upward, climbing into the clouds at 10,000 meters. He thought he had shaken them off, but the German fighters quickly caught up. Before the captain could react, the fighters launched their attack, spraying the Boeing with bullets. Fortunately, the fuselage was far too strong to be pierced, and despite the relentless fire, the airliner remained unharmed. Realizing this, the German pilots changed tactics. They dove beneath the aircraft, raking the underside with gunfire. Bullets tore through the belly of the plane and struck the co-pilot. Then the fighters moved ahead of the airliner, attempting to blow out its engines. At that moment, the captain noticed that the German planes were also carrying the latest missiles. Surrounded from all directions and about to be destroyed, he made a desperate gamble. He nosed the 737 into a vertical dive. The German fighters followed instantly. Just 100 meters from the ground, the captain yanked back on the controls, sending the jet surging back up to cruising altitude. The fighters, with engines less powerful than the airliners, couldn't climb in time and plunged into the earth. The 737 had miraculously escaped, but just as the captain began to breathe in relief, two more German jets appeared, launching another fierce assault. The captain rolled the jet to evade gunfire, but one fighter fired a missile. The blast shattered the cockpit glass with its shockwave, though the plane itself remained intact. With no choice, the captain accelerated straight toward the oncoming fighter, and at the last second pulled the plane upward. The two German planes collided mid-air, while the airliner slipped away once again, but the extreme dives and climbs had drained the fuel reserves. Only an hour of flight remained. Worse, more German fighters could appear at any moment. The captain tried the radio, and against all odds made contact with a British communications officer. But without knowing their exact location, the RAF couldn't dispatch rescue planes. Just then, a passenger came up with an idea. Detach the radar unit and drop it from the plane. If the British found it, they could approximate the airliner's position. The co-pilot cut the radar loose with a saw, while a flight attendant fashioned a makeshift parachute from plastic bags. Once ready, the co-pilot opened the hatch and threw the radar out. The Germans spotted it instantly. British forces arrived. A fierce gunfight broke out, and in the end the British managed to seize the radar. With the coordinates now known, the British officer urged command to scramble fighters immediately. Meanwhile, the damaged airliner was forced to fly low and was soon intercepted by two German jets. Within seconds, a missile struck, blasting a massive hole in the fuselage. The rush of air sucked out one passenger, and the plane began lurching violently. The captain pushed the engines to their limits, fleeing as the Germans pressed their chase. Just as the 737 was running out of fuel, salvation arrived. A squadron of RAF fighters swooped in, quickly downing the two German planes. They began guiding the battered airliner toward the nearest airfield. But suddenly, a flash of white light enveloped the Boeing. In an instant, it was pulled through and transported back to its original flight path in the present. The captain immediately radioed the nearest airport, requesting an emergency runway clearance. At last, the heavily damaged 737 made a safe emergency landing at the closest airport.